Hi, this is Matt Clark, and in this video, we're going to talk about writing your Kindle books. This is obviously a critical step to selling Kindle books, is first you have to get them written. You can either do this yourself or you can have it outsourced. So a few principles. First thing, quality matters. I'm not somebody who's going to sit here and tell you that you have to write some life-changing book and for the betterment of the universe, the book has to be absolutely perfect and add so much value to people and that sort of thing. I mean, this is a course on marketing. You do not have to create any sort of content that's that exceptional. Now, if you do, your job is just that much easier. But you do need a base level standard for quality because just purely because that if you don't have good quality in there, you'll get a ton of bad reviews, and bad reviews basically kill all of your efforts. Even if you try to bury them, having friends, family, other accounts, doing whatever you want to do to get good reviews, sending it out to people you know, and that sort of thing, so you're sort of basically getting reviews that you know are going to be good. If you're doing that, that's nice, but that's not really gonna cut it because the thing is, psychologically, for whatever reason, people, if they see that a book has a bunch of good reviews, even though they know the content's crap, they're going to be that much more motivated to write a bad review. I know for sure because I've done this before. There was an SEO book on Amazon that was promoted real well and came out, and I ordered it, and it did not live up to its title whatsoever. It was complete garbage, but it had gotten a ton of people, friends and family, and people that this guy worked with to basically write good reviews. And I was a little bit furious because I was like, this book is complete junk. I was like, it doesn't live up to its title at all. And so it just made me more motivated to write a bad review. And I'm not the kind of person who goes out there and wastes time writing reviews on half these things anyways, but that's just an example that if you have bad quality content, it's going to make people write bad reviews. So it needs to be good, it needs to be clear, and basically give people what they think they're going to get whenever they buy the book. But with that said, the quality of the content and the content itself doesn't have to be perfect. If you're selling a 99-cent book, the quality has to be pretty bad for somebody to go out of their way to write a bad review on a 99-cent book. It doesn't have to be perfect. Take that in mind. Depending on what you're pricing your book at, the quality is going to need to get better and better the more expensive you're pricing your book. Needs great grammar. This is, you're writing a book. Think of this as writing a physical book. If you were to do that, you'd want somebody to check the grammar and make sure that it's good. But like I said, it doesn't have to be 100%, perfect, like it's going to pass an exam in an English class. Basically, just needs to be good and needs to be good enough for people to be able to read clearly and not have any glaring mistakes like misspelled words and misplaced punctuation and those kind of things. So it needs pretty good grammar, just to once again to keep people from writing bad reviews. I've seen a ton of books on Amazon where one of the biggest complaints people often have is that the book has such poor grammar that it just makes the reading so distracting that they can't get through the content, even if the content is good. So it needs some good grammar in there. Another thing, no affiliate links, or you're not really supposed to be directly promoting any products in your books. So don't that's another thing people will write bad reviews about. So you want to make sure that if you're doing some sort of list building and that kind of thing, that you're basically pointing people to resources, whether it's your website or blog or that kind of thing, outside of Amazon. If you're doing it outside of Amazon, you're basically going to want to promote them, send them to something that they're going to get something else of value, basically giving them something for free. Free report, free video, free training course, those kind of things. And that's a much better way than just directly promoting products. Another good principle of writing books for Kindle is use your existing resources. If it's something you've written in the past and is not on Kindle, or if it's a video interview or any kind of video you've done in the past that you can get transcribed, that's another thing you can basically just use as an existing resource and turn that into a Kindle book very fast. And as far as length, this is first when we sort of get in the meat of this topic. Length is going to depend on pricing. It depends on the content. If it's a recipe book, for example, if all you do is have pages with recipes, you're going to, by nature, generate more pages to make something substantial than a book that's just pure content and, is just delivering a lot of text basically to people. Just for the same amount of value, a recipe book is going to need to be a little bit longer just because it's just pure recipes. It's just, takes up half the page just for a single recipe or a whole page or more. So that's one factor to take into consideration. A good rule of thumb is about 10 500-word articles equals about a 30-page Kindle book. So that's good to know depending on how long you want your Kindle book to be. And here's a rough guide about, roughly, this is, very roughly speaking, it's going to depend on content and all that sort of thing. But pricing wise, here's just something to think about whenever you're pricing your book and how much content you really need in there. This is just based off of looking at other Kindle books on Amazon. 99-cent book, 30 to 50 pages is basically your minimum. There's books out there that are priced at 99 cents that are full-on books, 150 pages. But 30 to 50 pages will keep people from writing bad reviews pretty much. And $2.99 book, 50 to 75 pages, and $9.99 book is going to need to be 130 pages plus. It's basically like a fully substantial book that's could be published into a paperback or hardback book. And just something to keep in mind, because if you go out there pricing your book at $9.99 and it's a 20-page report, basically, you're going to get a lot of people. The few people who do buy it are not going to be very happy. Content ideas. What are people looking for is the first thing you should be asking yourself, and what do people want to know? Now that sounds, nice and sort of high in the sky, but how do you find that out? Easiest way, word tracker questions tool. I'll show you that in a minute here, and I'm going to show you that and the Google keyword tool, which you've probably used for other things before. So we're going to check those out real quick before we quickly cover these other things. So to get to the word tracker questions tool, just search in Google for keyword questions tool, and it's going to be the first one that pops up. It's actually freekeywords.wordtracker.com/keyword-questions, or you can just type this into Google and click on the first one. And this is going to take you over to a tool here, which basically allows you to type in a keyword and then click search. And then it will spit out all these questions in order of times asked, basically, that people are asking about this topic. So for example, I typed in hair loss, and to come up with content for a Kindle book, what do people want to know about hair loss that's going to answer their questions, and when somebody buys my Kindle book, that's going to provide them good value because I'm answering exactly what they want to know. For example, here's the questions. What causes hair loss? Does Bistolic cause hair loss? Natural help for hair loss. People looking for natural solutions. People want to know about women's hair loss problems. Can progesterol reverse hair loss? Etc., etc. And these are the questions you can basically turn into chapters of your Kindle book. This is a real extremely easy way to create content for your book, or to at least create an outline for your book, is by using the keyword questions tool. And one trick is, you can take a 7-day free trial, because if you try to search this again, I believe it's only one or maybe two times, and then it basically says you have to sign up for an account. Well, if you don't ever want to sign up for an account, if somebody from this company watches this, they're probably not going to like this, but if you ever want to not sign up for an account, basically just search for whatever you want to search for, and either switch browsers or close this browser and run CCleaner. That's just the letter C and then cleaner, which you can also download online, which we've talked about in other videos too. You can download that and basically run that. It'll clear out all your cookies and everything. Then you can fire back up your browser and run this thing again. You can just keep doing that, and you can basically search as many times as you want, never having to set up an account or anything like that. So, like I said, they probably won't be too happy about that, but that's okay. I'm in here for you all, not for them. And then, so another thing is the obvious Google keyword tool. Type Google keyword tool into Google, click on the first one. It says Google AdWords keyword suggestions, etc. That's the URL. Over here, I've typed in hair loss, and we're basically just trying to get an idea of what people are looking for related to this. So excessive hair loss products. You could possibly talk about hair loss products in your book. Once again, hair loss for women, frontal hair loss. It's obviously different than just generic basic hair loss. You're sort of drilling down on exactly what people want to look for. So these two tools should basically be what you need to find out what people are looking for related to whatever topic you want. So those are those two tools, and now we're going to jump back over to the presentation, because there's a few other tools or sources anyways you can get for creating content. So the other ones we have listed on here are ClickBank books. If you're familiar with ClickBank, you can just go to clickbank.com and you can buy those books, or at least look at their sales pages, and that'll also give you an idea of what people are looking for and what people are out there selling, basically related to whatever topics you're looking at. You can look at physical books. If there's different physical books on your topic, but there aren't very many or any Kindle books, then you can look at the physical books. You can either buy them or just look at what they have to say on Amazon and that sort of thing, and look at their table of contents on Amazon. You can find out what they've written about and the topics they're covering. You can also use other Kindle books. You can use your Kindle for PC if you don't have a Kindle device, or if you have a Kindle device, you can basically just download different Kindle books related to your topic for free, just to see what other people are writing about and get some ideas. You obviously don't want to copy anything directly or verbatim, but this is just sources of information you can use to get an idea of what you want to write about and what's going to be included in your Kindle book. Another thing, a good, quick, easy strategy is just look up the top 10 websites that rank for whatever keyword you're looking for on Google, and just open all of those up and start making an outline of whatever those people tend to agree on. And this is a good way for jumping into a subject you know absolutely nothing about. Because if those top 10 websites tend to agree on a few different things, those few different things are probably correct. I'm not going to guarantee, obviously, for any market that they are, but they're probably correct, and those are the good basic things. If you're not trying to create any sort of groundbreaking content, you basically just want to apply some marketing strategies to market and sell some Kindle books. That's a good way of getting some basic content ideas. Another thing you can use is Wikipedia, the references. For example, hair loss, if you look that up on Wikipedia, you can scroll down to the very bottom of the page and there'll be the references section. That's a good place to find scientific research and those kind of things, where you can get some good references that you can include in your own book to make you seem a little more credible, and to actually include facts and figures and those kind of things that you may not be able to get from the other resources. So those are some few ways to get some good content for your books. Another thing is outsourcing. Like I said, you can either do this yourself or you can outsource it. If you're going to outsource it, you're going to want to use only English as a first language outsourcers. You don't want to use somebody from the Philippines who writes half well, because then it's just going to be more of a pain in the butt for you having to review and edit their stuff than it would be for you to find a slightly more expensive, somebody from America or Canada or one of those countries that basically uses English as a first language. The quality of the content is going to be a lot better and make a lot more sense for the largely English-based customers that you'll be writing to. Now, if you're writing for another language, this is obviously going to be whatever language you're in. So you're going to want to review whatever they put out, especially if there's somebody you haven't worked with before. Now, if they've written 4 or 5, equivalent of 4 or 5 books for you, then they're probably fine. It just depends on your relationship with them. But especially if there's somebody new, you're going to want to review that before you upload it to Amazon, because otherwise, if you upload some junk content that has extremely poor grammar, is just poorly written, then it's going to get bad reviews at the beginning, and have sort of shot yourself in the foot to begin with. And then you're going to want to have them write a 1 to 2 paragraph summary. And the reason you do this is so you can use that for your book description. So especially if they're writing the equivalent of a whole book for you, then you have them write a 1 to 2 paragraph summary. Then you don't have to go back and write a book description. You're going to want to rewrite that book description, because that's part of your marketing content. That's part of your basically copy that you're using to sell your book. And that's the part that you should definitely be focusing on. And so if you're doing that part, you're going to want to review that and make sure that's good and tight before you actually add it to your Kindle book page. Next thing is to review/rewrite the introduction. This is a very important part of the book, because this is the first part people will read. If it's a book that they're just trying to find some specific information, if it's like a how-to book or that kind of thing that somebody's reading, they're still going to read the introduction most likely. And if that's poor, it's going to make the rest of the book sort of lose a lot of its credibility. So you're going to want to make sure that you rewrite, or at least review, if it's already good, the introduction for any book that you have any outsourcer write. One tip is to tell the outsourcer you want articles or short reports. For example, I gave that sort of a bench post, is that if you want a 30-page Kindle book written, you're going to have them write 10 500-word articles. So that would be a much better 10 500-word articles, 10 500-word short reports. Don't tell them they're writing a whole book, because they're likely going to charge about 5 times as much. They're just writing articles. These outsourcers are used to writing articles all the time. So if you have them do that, it's going to be a little bit less expensive, most likely. And here are a few sites you can use to find such outsourcers to write the content for you. Elance.com, Odesk.com, Guru.com. And the one I'm going to show you here in a second is textbroker.com. I'll be the first one to tell you this is not going to be your cheapest source for articles. If you go to elance.com or guru.com, Odesk even, you can get people to write content for you for about $4 or $5 for a 500-word article. Textbroker.com is going to cost you about $11. But the good thing about Textbroker, I like anyways, is that as I'll show you in a minute, is you're not just working with one author, you're not just working with one writer basically. If you want, 50 articles written on a single topic and you want it done within like 2 or 3 days, if you have a single person doing it, you're going to have to do a whole lot of pain in the butt back and forth, and they may not even be able to get it done just because they don't have enough time. But instead, use a site like TextBroker, where basically it just pools a bunch of different authors together, and they all basically can decide to write on whatever topics you put in there. Then you can basically get a ton of content written extremely fast that's 100% unique. So I'm going to show you that website right now. So here we're over at textbroker.com. I've clicked on this client's information. This is basically what you'll be doing. You're not going to be an author. You're going to be clients. So you're looking to buy, looking to pay different people to write your content. And basically all you do is you set up your account, and then you create what's called a new order. And basically once you do that, you're able to add the different titles for the topics that you want written on. For example, if you want to use this hair loss as an example, basically all you would do is, for example, some of these questions you'll probably want to filter out because they're either redundant or don't make any sense. But hypothetically, if all 10 of these top 10 questions were the best questions in this list, then you would take these top 10 questions and basically paste them over into your box that you're going to be using to create your order on TextBroker, and then each one of those will be its separate article. So then basically you'll have 10 different people writing those, and you can get them done. They'll probably be done within 24 hours. And then basically you'll have all the content you need pretty much to create a Kindle book. And what I recommend, one thing is, they have different quality levels, and they cost more based on the quality level. I wouldn't even, if you're writing Kindle books, I wouldn't mess around with 2 and 3. 4 with a little bit of slight editing is generally going to be good enough. You can go with 5, but the price increases substantially, and in my experience, the quality does not. So use a level 4 articles and do a little bit of editing, and you'll be good to go. This is sort of a one of the fastest ways to create a Kindle book, is basically using a site like this, and basically using the power of crowdsourcing basically to create a whole bunch of articles real fast, and you can have a Kindle book up and running, completely written in basically a day. So now I'm going to jump back over to the presentation. So that's basically some quick information on outsourcing your Kindle book creation that'll help you create, pretty good Kindle books very fast, which is sort of the goal, because the more books you can create, as long as they're all pretty good, the better off you're going to be, because you can use them to promote each other. And so here's a quick sort of easy book creation method using what I just told you. First off, type your keyword into the keyword questions tool and gather those questions, and basically on a site like TextBroker or any other outsourcing site, have an outsourcer write one 500-word article on each of the top 10 questions. Do a quick review edit of their work, write the introduction and description, upload it to Kindle, and you are now a self-published author. So that's an extremely fast way and easy way to create a brand new Kindle book on a topic that you may know absolutely nothing about. Here's another way you can get really quickly create content and write Kindle books, is using videos to create content, or even just audio recordings. A lot of times it can be much easier for people to talk about a subject than it is to actually get them, especially if they're an expert, to get them to sit down and actually write, significant number of articles, or even a book, especially a book, on a specific topic. But if you go and interview with them for an hour, you basically will have enough content to be able to write an entire Kindle book on it. So you find an expert, could even be yourself, or it could be somebody else. Find an expert on any subject you want to write a book on. Basically, you're going to interview them for an hour, record the audio, get the audio transcribed at a site like verbalinc.com. This is a site that does transcriptions. You can find people on all the outsourcing sites that will do transcriptions for you too. Basically, you're going to get that audio recording transcribed. You're going to edit or outsource the editing just to make sure that it all looks good. You can even outsource the editing portion. And then you're going to, write the introduction and book description just to make sure those are tight and, or actually sound good and really present the information well, and sort of put your best foot forward when people start reading your book. And then basically that, your Kindle book is done. You have very unique, very good content, especially if you've gotten a good expert, and that's another extremely easy way to create content. The good thing is, if you interview an expert, especially on video, you can use that video, which I'll show you in a little bit later. You can use that video to market the same Kindle book. So it sort of kills a few different birds in one stone, and you'll be ready to go. So this is writing Kindle books is not very hard, especially if you're selling them at 99 cents, because it doesn't have to be groundbreaking content. You don't have to be the best author. All you need to do is provide some good information that adds value to people, and that people, basically, you're trying to avoid negative reviews. But if you can get good reviews out of your content, that's very good. But basically, just writing something that's pretty good, provides some good value, is all you really need, and then you can let the rest of the promotion methods sort of take hold and help you make a lot of money selling Kindle books.